All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are live. Okay, everything's set up, everything is good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to another Heat Check live beat review live stream. I am your host, Desmond A, and I'm here to help all the producers out there grow in their music production journey. So, I want to say thank you to all the producers. All I can't speak today. It's been a long day, guys. Sorry, bear with me. I'm holding it together. I want to give a special thank you to all the producers who've submitted for this week's show. I definitely appreciate you guys. And if this is your first time checking out this show, you might be wondering, who is this guy? What is he talking about? Why should I submit beats to him for him to review? What's he all about? So, if you don't know, my name is Desmond A. I am a producer out here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I have been producing music for, I like to say over 12 years, but so much of my life I've been producing music and have my music on Bravo, Sci-Fi, E-Television, different independent recording artists, sell beats online, sold beats online, have music in sync, work with artists in studio, engineered multiple sessions. So I know a little bit about in a bunch of different areas in music production. So that's why I'm here to give back to help you guys in your music production journey as well. So if you don't know, what's the format of the show? You might be wondering, how exactly does this work? So you have an opportunity to submit your beats after the live streams ends. The free form that you see in the description is going to open. That's where you can go ahead and submit your beats for next Friday's show. So the free submissions are closed right now. But if you do want to get your beats in today, we have the VIP skip the line option, and that's at DesmondASounds.com/VIP. Once again, DesmondASounds.com/VIP. You can purchase a VIP skip the line option so you can have your beat played, the entire beat played, and you're going to skip all the other submissions that are already here for tonight. But if you don't want to do that, you can do next Friday. But we do have, we've definitely been having producers purchase that VIP skip the line. So if you want to join them, definitely do that. And as part of the VIP skip the line, I actually play your entire beat. So for all the free submissions, I play about a minute and a half. That gives us about enough to understand the feel and the vibe of the beat and the energy, and everything that we need is going to be in that minute and a half. So that's exactly how the heat check works. Another ground rule here at the heat check: we don't snap, we don't roast, we don't play the dozens here. That's not what this show is for. This is essentially a dojo. If you go to a martial arts dojo, and let's just say you're throwing a punch, your sensei isn't going to say, man, that punch is whack, or that was a terrible punch, or LOL, that's a crazy punch. No. Your sensei is going to say, lift your shoulder up, put some, use your hips to go ahead and throw that punch. Go ahead and, move your head, get off the center line whenever you're throwing your elbow strikes. They're going to give you real actionable steps. And that's the same thing that we do here at the Heat Check. We're going to give you real actionable steps. We're going to give it to you straight, but we're going to give it to you with love. We're going to give it to you with actionable tips. So if you hear something you don't like, hey man, work on that melody, or the mix isn't really good, you might want to try this, or those drums ain't quite hitting, try this. That's exactly what we're going to do here on the Heat Check. We're here to help each other grow as a community. So if you rock with that, make sure you continue to watch the show and submit for the Heat Check, because that's what we're all about. Also, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com to get any type of loops. We got some crazy Afrobeat loops. I got a piano soul loop pack. Super crazy, 100% real musicianship, no AI, from the straight trenches, real musicians doing real things. And I got more of those coming up next year. A lot of great stuff coming up next year. Also, you can get free FL Studio Patcher plugins, help you in your music production journey. A lot of these plugins are kind of capped, so the FL Studio Patcher plugins are gonna get you the same results that you're looking for. So make sure you check that out on the website. Also, I want to give a shout out to Bolo the producer. Got Bolo the producer, checked out my video reaction on FL Studio. He made a comment, shouted out the video. So I want to go ahead and give a shout out right back to Bolo the producer, OG content creator, OG producer. Show love to my video. He didn't have to do that. So I want to say I definitely appreciate that. And that definitely keeps me motivated. So 2026, we're going up. We've got a lot of great stuff coming, and it's not going to stop. We're going to keep powering through. We're going to keep with the great content and great stuff for the music production community. So shout out to the chat. All right, we got Millie Beats in here. Shout out to you, Millie Beats. I got your submission. Thank you so much, Millie Beats, for submitting on the heat check. I'm going to check you out in a second here. So looks like that's a great way to kick it off. Let's go ahead and get to FL Studio here. All right. So let's get started with the first review here. We have Purple Prosperity with 111 in F minor. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, listen to this beat, then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Purple Prosperity with 111. Shout out to you, Purple Prosperity, and I appreciate you for submitting on the heat check. Now, Purple Prosperity, what I was hearing with that beat, it's like, I'm hearing, so first of all, let me start by saying this. I'm hearing the direction that you're going in. I'm hearing what you're trying to achieve. I'm just hearing like you're in the process of developing. We just need to refine where you're at. So I can tell that you're not a newbie producer. You've been making beats, but I'm hearing like this transition phase. We need to get you over the hump. We need to get you over this transition phase into getting polished. And I'm hearing that. I'm hearing we're getting to the point where we need to tighten things up and get you polished as a producer. So you're definitely not a newbie. I'm just hearing certain things with the sound selection, like that crash. I would definitely have selected a different crash sound. It just felt strange with the rest of the texture of the beat. The clap, I feel like we could have selected a different clap. Also, like the kick and the hi-hats, I felt like we could have did we could have done something with that. I'm almost thinking like a little bit of tasteful compression, not really hitting it hard, just to glue things just a little bit, just a slight tighter kind of tone between the two. We just need to kind of tighten things up. And that's why I say that we need to get you over the hump, get you to that next phase. So, what I would suggest for you, Purple Prosperity, is to really, really critically listen to sound. So, if you're listening to whatever producers that you look up to, whether it's, you know, whoever, Metro, whoever's in your top two producers, top three producers that really inspire you, listen critically to the sounds that they're using. Listen to how the kick sounds with the hi-hat, with the snare, what type of snare they use. Listen to how all that stuff feels. And then also with the arrangement, like how they breaking things down from the verse to the hook. Listen to how they're doing that. You know, when the beat started to really grow and get more exciting, I was almost getting like sync vibes, meaning that you could possibly get this into TV and film. So if that's something that you're possibly thinking about exploring, then you can listen to sync instrumentals. You can go to those different libraries where people license music for sync placements and listen to how they put things together. But as far as beats for records, I would definitely listen closely to the sound selection of the producers that you look up to. And if you have a moment, make some time to even try to emulate what your favorite producers are doing. For example, like just listen to the drum pattern that they made and remake that same drum pattern and just feel how everything sounds together. And then that's going to help you translate that into your own productions. So shout out to you, Purple Prosperity. Thank you very much for that submission. And it looks like you have another submission here. This one's called Organ Grinder. All right, ladies and gentlemen, second submission of the night from Purple Prosperity. This one is called Organ Grinder. So let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Purple Prosperity with Organ Grinder right here on the Heat Check. Now, Purple Prosperity, with that beat, first, I like to say I like the energy of your beat. I can feel where you're trying to take the listener to. I like that. The first thing is I didn't like that extra snare that was added to the beat as we went on. You had like this TR-808 snare that was added in there, and that wasn't really needed. Also, that switch up that you added, it's almost like we were going into like a beat battle lane where you're trying to change how the melody feels, and then bring things back. Typically with those type of changes that producers do, it needs to pull us into the music, and that pushed me out of the music, meaning it didn't create anticipation. It didn't really feel inviting. It didn't really feel surprising. So I would definitely take that out unless you're able to redo it in a way that feels better. It felt kind of random, and it didn't add to the feel of the beat. Also, I'm just hearing like a sound selection thing going on. It's like, once again, the feedback that I gave in the first beat holds true. Listen to those producers that you really like. Like, for one thing, to be specific, the keys that you had in that just didn't really add anything. You had like the kind of like a phasey keys going on. That didn't really add anything to the beat, or rather, that didn't really feel good for that particular beat. So we just need to tighten up your sound selection when it comes to instrumentation and the drums. Then as you start to polish and tighten up your sound selection, you're going to develop into your own sound. I can start to hear your transition into someone like a Dancing Main, who tends to submit, on most of our broadcasts here. I'm hearing your transition into that. We just need to put in more reps, put in more time, listen critically to other producers that you look up to, maybe even remake some beats so you can get to that point. You can develop into that, your own sound. So I can hear your path. I can hear your journey. So keep it up, keep cooking up beats, and please continue to submit right here on the Heat Check. So shout out to you. All right. Moving forward, we have Onismus with Need It Tonight. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, play this beat, and then go ahead and give my feedback right here on the Heat Check. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that was Onismus with Need It Tonight. Thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, for that beat, first of all, let me start by saying that was a good beat. I was hearing someone like, I was going to call him Young Berg. I hear someone like Heatmaker making a song to something like that, had a fun, summery vibe. I can kind of see the beach and all kinds of different things in that beat. So yeah, you definitely captured the essence of what you were trying to do. And I could tell that, you know what you're doing when it comes to sound selection and production. So for that beat, I would definitely say, please, and I keep saying this on a lot of shows, please get that beat to a songwriter. A songwriter needs to touch that beat. They need to write a real record to it, and that real record needs to be shopped around. So you with this great beat, sitting on your hard drive or playing it for your friends, we need to take it somewhere. So whether it's Instagram, YouTube, any of these other places, please link up with different songwriters, have them write to those songs, and then you guys get in contact with other people in the industry. The thing that's so powerful about social media these days is it lowers the barrier to get in contact with really, really important people. I remember back in the day when we had MySpace, that's when those barriers started to drop a little bit, and we can get in contact with important people. These days, it's even tighter. So if you just reach out, be consistent, find the right songwriter, you're going to be able to make a very good song to that. As far as constructive feedback, I was hearing something with the sub of that 808 going on. That's why you saw me take off my headphones. I was listening to my monitors here. I have Atom monitors. That wasn't a flex. That wasn't a flex, guys. But yes, I have Atom monitors here, and I was listening, and I was feeling like something was missing. Maybe I'm tripping, but I felt like there was something missing with the sub. But it's not so much that it's going to ruin the beat or anything like that, or ruin any opportunities. But that's just a little piece of constructive feedback. I was hearing something with that sub that was missing. It's possibly you guys maybe hit it with the clipper distortion that probably could have hacked off some of the sub. So if you can find a way to add that back in while keeping everything balanced, that'd definitely be awesome. So thank you so much for submitting this beat. Get it to a songwriter, please. And it's going to take that beat very far. All right, so let's take a look at the chat here. All right, we got Demo One. Shout out to you, Demo One. Got your submission. All right, and Demo One is giving some feedback as well to that producer. So thank you so much. All right, he's out there, Demo One out there in the UK, man. Shout out to you. Man, you know what I was thinking? Not to digress. I was thinking it'd be cool if I could, and I'm just putting it out there, in the future, doing some type of meetup, some type of heat check meetup where, us producers, we gather in like different studios in a city. We can go to the, places in the UK, Florida, Dallas, and we just meet up, play beats, eat some food, kick it, do some stuff like that. I think something like that would be pretty cool. So you never know what might come up down on the pipeline later. So I'm just putting it out there so we can manifest something like that. I think that'd be super cool to meet you guys in person. So moving forward, we have same producer here, second submission of the night. This one is called Love Letter. So we're going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, then go ahead and give our feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Right, ladies and gentlemen, second submission of the night from Onismus with Love Letter. So shout out to you, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right, now for that beat, first thing I was hearing was that kick was overloading. That kick was just overloading the mix too much, and it made it imbalanced. So if I can get you to just pull that kick down, it was just hitting a little too hard. I could hear this kind of almost like, I don't want to call it pumping, but it's something was like, it's just kind of a weird sound. So just pull it down, pull that kick down, allow it to be balanced with the rest of the sound of the beat. It's just too far up, and it's distorted. It's imbalanced. It's just too up. But other than that, man, great beat, man. I was, writing an entire song right here. As I was listening to the beat, I don't consider myself a songwriter, but hey, you never know, man. Suno can maybe possibly allow me to sing, and maybe I keep saying songwriter. Maybe I'll sing something and send it back to you guys, and it sound like Neo or something like that. But you never know. But yeah, other than that, man, other than the kick, great beat, great vibe, great feel. Once again, this is another track I really feel like needs to go to a songwriter. Please don't keep this on your hard drive. Get it out, get it out, get it out. If you're making beats for our artists, we're here to get the songs made. So yeah, great vibe, great feel, man. Keep it up. Get with the songwriter. So yeah, thank you so much for submitting on the Heat Check. Please continue to submit, and I'll be glad to help you on your music production journey. All right. Oh, okay. So we got Onismus here in the chat. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for submitting. Looks like you're getting some great feedback in the chat as well, man. Yeah, great beat. You definitely got a great sound, man. You need to develop a relationship with a writer, and you guys could just be a dynamic duo and take over the music game. So yes, indeed. All right, moving forward, we have Millie Beats with Organic Millie. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Miller, you made it.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with, let me get the title, Organic Millie. Shout out to you, Millie Beats. Millie Beats is, of course, in the chat here as well. So, Millie Beats, from what I recall, you are using FL Studio Mobile, which is incredible, man. It's just a surprise that you're able to make a beat like that in FL Studio Mobile. I've actually never given it a try, but that's something, just goes to show how technology changes. That beat, that beat was a good foundation. I felt like I was hearing YG on a beat like that. Um, one piece of feedback I was having was that was coming to mind was just sound selection. We just need, more professional sounding sounds, but you know, FL Studio Mobile is going to be limited, but for what you have access to there in that program, man, there's great foundation. Rapper could rap to that. You left enough space for them in the beat. That hard piano, that dun, dun, the main piano, I really want to switch that out with something different. If possible, if FL Studio Mobile allows for maybe different sounds. I just want to hear the body, the texture of a better sounding piano going on there. But you work with what you got until you can, get what you want. So keep grinding, keep cooking up, keep making beats. Don't stop making beats. Just because you're using FL Studio Mobile, just keep creating, keep cooking up. So that way, once you transition, you'll have access, you'll have access to other sounds, and you already have your foundation set up. But yeah, great foundation. Artists gonna be able to rap to that. We just need to get better sounds whenever you have a chance to. So shout out to you, Millie Beats. You are welcome. You are very much welcome. All right. Like, you got another submission today? Yep. We have Millie Beats with Chrome Dreams, second submission of the night, right here on the Heat Check. I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Miller, you made it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Millie Beats with Chrome Dreams. Shout out to you, Millie Beats. Second submission of the night. Now, Millie Beats, that beat, once again, great foundation, great space for the artist. You didn't overfill it. You left just enough space for them to do their thing. Of course, once again, I would want better sound selection, higher quality sounds, but you're working with what you have until you can get what you want, which is great. One thing, that stomp kick that you added, that kick sound was just too much. It was overbearing. If you can possibly either totally get rid of it or pull it all the way down. Let's keep that right in the background. Let's tease the ear with that kick sound as opposed to just pushing it up all the way forward where it just kind of takes us by surprise. It didn't really add anything. So you can mute it or you can pull it all the way down. Other than that, keep at it. Keep at it. You got that classic West Coast sound. I was freestyling like I was YG or something like that. Not to say West Coast beats just remind me of YG, but you have that sound. So keep at it, keep grinding, and as soon as you get that laptop or whatever you're gonna get in the future, you're gonna be slam dunk. You're gonna be ready for it, and you're not gonna wait. And I want to say I appreciate that because some producers will make excuses and just wait and wait and wait, but you took action by making beats on your mobile device. So shout out to you, Millie Beats. All right. Shout out to the chat. Okay. Yes, you are welcome, Anismus. Yeah. Sometimes we can get in our own way when it comes to beats, Anismus. It's just a thing that we all do. So you're not the only one. You're not the only one. Well, you're not the only one. That's the point of the feedback, so you can get a second set of ears on things, so you can figure out what's what. So yes, we just need that kick fixed. All right. Moving forward, and shout out to you, Anismus, and everyone who submitted tonight. Yes. Go ahead, Demo One. You got a question? Got a question, Demo One. I believe you are up next. So yes, you can go ahead and ask your question. All right. You are welcome. Thank you so much, Millie Beats. I definitely appreciate it. Keep grinding, man. Keep grinding. You are welcome. All right. And as we wait for that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com. Get your FL Studio Patcher plugins, your loops, your guides, everything you need to help you out. Make sure you check out my Made in the Studio podcast. It's on a hiatus right now, but the information in the podcast episodes that I have so far are fire, absolute fire. You have Tavares Jordan made Heart of a Woman for Summer Walker. We have David S., loop maker, producer, produced for Wayne, Rich the Kid, OG the 3, he's musician, work with just about everyone. We have Darrell Banks, music producer, online type beat maker, loop maker, sample maker, just about everything. And, that's what we got. We also got, how can I forget, Drew's That Dude, one of my favorite producers, Andrew Lloyd, produced for Mac Miller, produced for Lil Wayne, T-Pain, everyone. So make sure you check out the Made in the Studio podcast. You can find that right here on my YouTube channel. Also, anywhere that you can find podcasts, you can find that as well. Okay, so let's take a look at Demo 1. I want to show you a little beat, but first and second half are different. I'd like you to listen to both for feedback. I want to show you a particular beat, but first and second half are different. I'd like you to listen to both for feedback. It's a 5-minute plus track. Demo 1, it sounds like Demo 1 sounds like you're speaking about different beats other than what you submitted for tonight. It sounds like you're trying to swap the beats out. It sounds like you're possibly trying to swap the beats out for a second set of beats that you have. Let's hold off on that. If that's what you're trying to do, let's hold off on that. Okay, so you're trying to swap that out. Let's hold off on that, please. No, not a swap. So you're trying to, I'm confused. So I have your 2 beats here. Are you not trying to send me a separate set of 2 beats? So let me know what's going on. So I want to send you another beat sometime and send 2 snippets from the same beat. I want to send you another beat sometime and send 2 snippets from the same beat next episode. Okay, Demo 1. No, same beat, 2 segments next episode. Demo 1, that's sounding a bit convoluted for this time of night. Just let me know as of right now. Do you want me to continue to give my feedback for your 2 beat submissions that you have tonight? I can just do the 2 that you have right here on my screen. So let me know if you want me to continue with those two beats that I have on my screen, or do you want me to bypass those and you'll submit something different for next episode. So just let me know if you want me to do these two. Let me know if you want me to do these two beats that you have submitted. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with these two beats here. And then next week's show, go ahead and submit and send what you want me to review next week's show. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So we're moving forward with demo 1 with Dishonor. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, play this beat, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
You must think first, before you move. My lord, a handsome sword. It's like a sword. Do you think your Wu-Tang sword can defeat me? I came here tonight to play chess. Nobody ever mentioned anything about a sword fight. Master Law, if you don't talk, you're gonna die.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Demo 1 with Dishonor. Shout out to you, Demo 1, and thank you so much for submitting right here on the Heat Check. Now, for that beat, I definitely understand what vibe, what theme you were going for. One thing that stood out to me about the beat was the relationship between the bass and the drums. It felt like the bass was just stacked on top of the drums and the rest of the music, instead of really just filling out the low end. So we need to reorient. We need to rebalance the relationship with the bass and everything else. You may need to just have the music going, and then the drums, and then just use your volume fader to just pull in the bass. Just slowly use your fader, listen to the music, and pull in the bass. Right where the bass feels right, just go ahead and stop. That's where we want the bass to live. We want it to live in the lower body, the sub frequencies, instead of kind of on top of things. Other than that, I also wanted a way for the drums to just be a bit more snappier, just have a bit more presence. I think you could possibly even achieve that with an EQ. Just give me a little bit more on the upper, let's just say like the upper mids. I just want a little bit of snappy. I just want to hear a little bit more of that top end snap of those drums. Understand those type of drums can have that lo-fi sound, but to me, it was just a little too lo-fi. It's a little too muffled. I just want a little bit more top end on those drums, just a little bit, to just really help give me that nod factor where I'm hearing the bass in the low end and I'm hearing the drums going, and I'm just totally losing it. A good example, this might be too far. This might be doing too much. It's probably doing too much, but I'm just going to put this out there. You could possibly even listen to albums like The Infamous by Mobb Deep. Those mixes have really good bass drum relationship. I believe those out that Infamous by Mobb Deep. I believe that was mixed by Q-Tip and Bob Power. I might be wrong. I'm just pulling it off the top of my head. But yeah, regardless, listen to the relationship with the drums and the bass, and that can kind of help to give you a guideline of kind of what I'm talking about. So, yes. All right. So, Demo One says, I see. Cheers, buddy. Only been producing for 6 months. No prior experience. Oh, you got an MPC One. Okay. Haven't got a laptop yet to fine tune in Ableton. Oh wow, man, 6 months, man. You, if you've been producing for 6 months, your beats sound like that, man. Man, hey, all I gotta say is keep going. 6 months. Okay. So shout out to you, Demo One. That's quite far for someone who's only been producing for 6 months. Let me tell you, it is a journey. And do you possibly have any other musical experience? Do you DJ? Do you possibly DJ? Do you play the guitar? Anything like that? That doesn't necessarily mean that a person's going to have a head start on other producers, but plan to. All right. Okay. So shout out to Demo One in the chat. And it looks like he has another submission for tonight. We have Demo One with Mary Jane. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, play this beat, and then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Mary Jane, makes me wonder if her body is sick. Mary Jane, Mary Jane, makes me wonder if her body is sick. Mary Jane, makes me wonder if her body is sick.
And gentlemen, that was Demo One with the second submission of the night with Mary Jane. Shout out to you, Demo One, and thank you so much for submitting on the Heat Check. Now, Demo One, that beat, I'm hearing kind of the same thing I was hearing in the other beat, and that's the bass is it's doing this thing where it's like sitting on top of the drums as opposed to like living inside and getting closer to like the bottom frequencies. It's just the presence is just so up there, so in your face. We need to pull that down, have it sit in the lower frequencies. Again, I would have the same suggestion if it's possible in the MPC One. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know too much. It may not be possible yet, but if it should have like some type of gain that you can use for that bass sound, and just pull the gain down and then pull it back up. So just feel it, rock out to the music, and then slowly pull the bass in. Mary Jane, and then just feel it. Then right where you feel it, stop. Don't let it go too much where it sits on top of the beat. So that's really what I'm hearing on that. But yeah, man, continue to work, continue to develop your sound. 6 months, you are quite ahead of a lot of producers out there, man. So keep going, keep grinding, and thank you so much for submitting on the Heat Check. All right, so we have demo 1. I could play guitar, banjo, LOL, but always rooted love for hip hop. Okay, and the NPC one about one. Okay, so shout out to you. See, okay, musician. Okay, Neptune Blue. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Did you get to my beats? Or no, Neptune Blue. I have not got to your beats yet. We're getting to you up next. Up next. Will it be possible? It will be possible. Just confusing as how to navigate through. Oh, okay, so it's possible to use the gain in the NPC one. All right, you are very welcome, Demo 1. Thank you so much for submitting on the Heat Check, and I'll be glad to help you in your music production journey. You're already ahead, man, so shout out to you. Definitely keep grinding. And hey, man, Demo 1, also, try creating content. Pull up your cell phone, show people the NPC one. I'm sure quite a few people would like to learn how to use that as well. All right, moving forward, we have Neptune Blue. We also have Neptune Blue in the chat. Shout out to you, Neptune Blue. First submission of the night, we have Northern Lights Lo-Fi. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this beat, mute my mic, then go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. And gentlemen, that was Neptune Blue with Northern Lights Lo-Fi. So shout out to you, Neptune Blue, and thank you so much for submitting on the Heat Check. Now Neptune Blue, I'm still hearing that roll off. It sounds like maybe I'm hearing a bit more of the low end. It sounds like it could just be more sonic information, but it still sounds like right around 120 hertz, 125 hertz. I'm hearing like that roll off still occurring where it's like the information is hacked off the low end. So I can't quite hear everything that's going on in the production. But from what I could hear, it, had a good bounce, great sound selection. I really like that transition in the end, how you were able to change the instrumentation and change the vibe by reversing the sounds and then making things still work, even though you change things, which sometimes that could be hit or miss for some producers. It takes a lot of practice. Not everybody's able to nail it, but you were able to get that transition down right. There was a point in the beat where it was like some type of drop, but the drop almost felt like a volume fade. And for a second, I had to look up and think, like, did I do something? So I'm not quite sure what what kind of drop you were doing. Was that like trying to create some type of anticipation? If you're trying to create anticipation, you could just drop by using silence, or you could use a low pass filter. Possibly you did use a low pass filter and I just couldn't hear the low end information going on. So I'm not quite sure what was going on with those drops that you had there going. But other than that, good beat. But you know, I've always complimented you on your production decisions. It's just that hacking off of the information still makes it a bit of a challenge for me to really judge what's going on. But shout out to you. All right. Appreciate you, my guys. From last night. Okay, so it was a volume drop. Okay, I thought it might have been some type of low pass filter. You could possibly do a low pass filter instead of a volume drop on that. I think that might be a bit smoother. That would send the message to the artist that you're trying to soothe the beat and create this tension, as opposed to that volume drop, that volume ride. The artist might even be like, they might start looking at their phone and being like, okay, what happened? Which I started to do. So I would lean towards using a low pass filtering if you want to give that same effect, as opposed to that volume drop. Or you can just do straight silence, but that's more tension. So shout out to you, Neptune Blue. All right, we got another submission today. Neptune Blue, this one is called Coast to Coast. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic, go ahead and listen to this beat, and then give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Neptune Blue with Coast to Coast. So shout out to you, Neptune Blue, second submission of the night. Now, with that beat, other than, of course, the low end cutoff, one thing I was hearing is it sounds like that sample is a bit loud. It just was I'm just hearing too much of the sample frequencies just kind of grabbing my attention. I would want to pull that down a little bit. Just pull the sample down a little bit so that way the artist will have some space to put their vocal on. It's just something like that sounds really good to us producers, just kicking it in our studio, turning up to our beats. But then for the recording artist, it could be a little bit it can kind of interfere with their vibe. So we want to pull the volume down a little bit, soften it a little bit, so that way they're really rocking out to the drums, and then the sample is kind of adding somewhat of a background atmosphere to the music, to their voice of what they're going to add to the music. So, you know, I've definitely done that before, rocked out to a beat, and then it's kind of gets in the way of the recording artist. So I've done that, so we've all been there. In other words, but other than that, man, great drum pattern, great sample selection, great melody. Other than that, man, I always say I want to hear the whole sonic spectrum of what you have going on. But thank you so much for submitting. Definitely appreciate it. Neptune Blue, I appreciate you for submitting right here on the Heat Check. All right. Okay. All right. Got you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen. All right. Looks like, okay, got a question here. Demo 1. Let's see here. No vocals, correct. Yes, please, no vocals. Let's keep it strictly beats. If you have like a little vocal sample on like the hook, that's cool. But what I don't want is other people who know me listening and then thinking that I'm playing favorites. So, let's keep it straight beats, but you can use little, vocal samples on the hooks and things like that. So you could do that. All right, you are welcome, Neptune Blue. Thank you so much for submitting on the Heat Check and cooking up fire. All right. Any other questions? Any other producers in here as well? We have quite a few producers who tend to lurk on my content, whether it be live streams or my video on demands. So speak up, guys. Speak up. I can answer any questions that you have right now. Be glad to help out. So just stay here for the next minute or so. Got a couple things I need to wrap up tonight. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. So yeah. Another great Heat Check show. What do I have coming? I have some special things coming before the year ends. Also, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are already almost there. Also, shout out once again to Bolo the producer for shouting me out on my video about FL Studio. Absolutely. So shout out to Bolo the producer. All right. Send the link to my private sessions. Oh, yes. All right, let me go ahead and pull that up. My one-on-one coaching sessions. So ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, so I have two options. I have one-on-one coaching sessions. You can see everything on DesmondASounds.com. You could book a one-on-one coaching session with me where we do a screen share. Go ahead and talk whatever questions you have about production or whatever. I'll go ahead and help you out. Then I have a Heat Check on demand. That's a separate service where if you don't want to wait for the Heat Check show, you just have some beats you want to send me, and then I make a video back and send it to you. Some people are on the move. They don't have time to show up, and they just want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and post the link for my one-on-one coaching here in the chat. All right. Going to go ahead and post that here. Right here. One coaching. All right, got that in the chat. Then also we have the Heat Check on demand. It's another, and all the information is going to be on the web pages that you see. All right. And Heat Check. All right. So I got them both posted in the chat. So you guys can check out both of those options, and whatever works for you, you guys can go ahead and do, and I'll be glad to help you out. So another great episode of the Heat Check. Another great Friday. Another great session of fire beats and fire music. I'm going to go ahead and open up the form for the free submission for next week's show. And then, of course, I'm going to make the YouTube community post letting everyone know, in case you're on the move, that you can go ahead and post for next Friday's show. So that's it, guys. I want you guys to have a great, safe weekend. I want to see you next Friday for the next episode of the Heat Check. Y'all be safe out there. I'll see you soon. See you next Friday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys.